Part 45. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 445. Chapter 438 City God's Temple. The team moved forward, and soon a city appeared in the misty rain. It is not as good as Daong's Fukan, but it still covers an area of 4 or 5 miles and has an extraordinary atmosphere. The rain was pouring down, and except for a few places, the entire city was shrouded in heavy rain. The most important places at the city gate are the few places with bright lights. On the gate, Chen San held the iron gun that had shed its hair, leaning against the wall with his shoulders, looking at the rain curtain outside the window. Because the rain had decreased, his sight was much further away. Ah Peng, this damn rain has finally stopped. It froze you to death, Mr. Chen. He muttered and wiped his mouth. Suddenly a white shadow appeared in his eyes. Chen San was stunned and quickly looked through the lights on the tower. Under the dim light, a group of hundreds of people dressed in white meandered over. They were old and young. They didn't look like soldiers attacking a city, but more like ghost. The hairs all over Chen San's body stood up. Subconsciously, he wanted to scream, but he was stretched out from behind and covered his mouth with a thick palm. Chen San heard a buzz in his head and subconsciously wanted to resist. "Don't move, it's me." Hearing the familiar voice, I felt relieved and my hands and feet relaxed. The person behind released his palm and stepped forward. He was a middle-aged man in his 40s, wearing a brown robe from the Fuyu Kingdom with a large word pawn printed on his chest. Chen San knew him. Luda, a veteran who has worked as a gate officer in Lingzhou City for 10 years. "Don't make a sound, don't do anything," Luda said in a low voice. It wasn't until these people in white clothes passed by that the two people, who were tensed up, breathed a sigh of relief. "Brother Lu, these people, no, these ghosts. They are all the unjust souls brought back by the city god from various places for trial," Luda said in a low voice. "City god?" Chen San exclaimed in a low voice. He thought of the city god's temple in Lingzhou City, which was even more impressive than the official's government office. A few days ago, he went to the city god's temple to offer incense to the city god, asking him to bless him with a beautiful wife. It had only been a few days, but I didn't expect to encounter the ghosts of the city god here. I think of the rumors about the city god that I heard from my family when I was a child. Brother Lu, did the city god really establish a ghost kingdom under our Lingzhou city? How do I know such a thing? Anyway, I have been standing guard at the city gates, and I have seen the ghost officers under the city god driving ghosts in hundreds of times. Hundreds of times, my dear, wouldn't there be tens of thousands of innocent souls under our Lingzhou city? Chen San's expression changed. Maybe. This is too scary. If one day they run out, wouldn't we? He didn't say the last sentence, but Luda understood what he meant. Lingzhou city has been established for hundreds of years, and I have never heard of any demons causing trouble. You kid is too lazy to worry about anything. Stand your guard. He, that's what Brother Lu said. After Luda finished speaking, he turned around and went outside to pee. Su Junming stepped forward, shrinking to an inch, walking hundreds of meters in one step, and soon arrived outside Lingzhou city. After briefly looking at the city gate in front of him, he urged Hu Tianshen to perform his magic and enter the city. Similar to most first-level cities in prefectures and counties he had seen, two wide main roads divided the city into 4 parts in a cross shape. Following the main road to Dongcheng, we soon found a magnificent Chenghuang temple. The towering gate tower, the 3 vermilion portals, 1 large and 2 small, the tall courtyard walls, there is no more gorgeous place in the entire Lingzhou city than this. After a brief glance at the plaque that read City God's Temple, Su Junming climbed up the steps. Walking into the Chenghuang temple, the ancient courtyard was completely dark, with only the ever-burning lamp in the hall opposite the visible light. Master, this place is very quiet. Kuei Niu followed him in with his dog. This is just a place in the underworld for ordinary people to worship. The Dharma realm of the Lord of Hell is not here. After saying that, his figure flashed and disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, there was already a netherworld that was more than 1,000 miles in size in front of him. A crescent moon hung in the sky, preventing the world from completely falling into darkness. In the vast world, there are all kinds of rivers and mountains. The villages, communities, and fields are similar to those in the ordinary world, and a city is vaguely visible in the distance. When you get closer, you can see that its shape is the same as that of Lingzhou City. The active ones among them are all ghosts, and the core of the city is the city god temple. However, the Chenghuang Temple, which in the mortal world is just a place of worship for ordinary people, is indeed the ruling center of this 1,000-mile ghost world. Seeing Su Junming walking straight towards the heavily guarded city god's temple, Kuei Niu quickly led the dog and walked over. Master, are you planning to go in like this? What? Master, do I still have to hand in the greeting card first and wait for the city god's summons? That's not true. But didn't you always greet first and then fight in the past? Why did you start fighting directly this time? Su Junming flicked his head with his finger, and while Kuei Niu was covering his head, he said, "Who said we were going to beat him? Master, am I the kind of person who shouts about beating and killing every day?" Although Kuei Niu didn't dare to say anything on his face, he nodded fiercely in his heart. Although this master of his own did not kill indiscriminately, he did not spare anyone who offended him. But he also likes to pretend to be a pig and eat the tiger. He will use sealing spells to seal his cultivation at every turn, so that others can't see any traces of his cultivation. As long as others are scornful and attack him, his counterattack will be as tame as a fierce tiger and strike with lightning. Eating the enemy alive. Along the way from Daong, I don't know how many evil cultivators, demon cultivators, and demonic cultivators were captured by him using this method. You can tell what Kuei Niu is thinking by looking at his face. Su Junming didn't bother to correct him. The reason why he chose to rush in was because the city god had a lot of merit. If he encounters someone full of resentment, he will hide his cultivation and gradually get closer. After all, you have to be careful when it comes to killing people, otherwise it would be very unlucky to sail in the gutter. Stand. The guard guarding the gate noticed Su Junming approaching delicately and was about to stop him, but he activated the sealing talisman and sealed it instantly. Lingzhou city god Shen Bai, who was asking questions in the lobby, was questioning Dudu, who was escorting the ghosts back this time. After asking for a few words, a huge aura suddenly came from outside the government office. The powerful aura enveloped the ghost world for thousands of miles, and millions of ghosts in the ghost world, including the city god, couldn't help but bow down to this aura. The fear coming from the depths of the soul makes it difficult for everyone to have the desire to resist. Lingzhou city god Shen Bai is no exception. This is the breath of a strong soul. Soon he saw a tall green-robed Taoist who was holding a bamboo stick to hang a green gourd and walked in. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 446. Chapter 439 Shen Bai. Stepping into the city god's hall, looking at the ghosts and gods suppressed by his breath, Su Junming smiled faintly and sealed his cultivation again. The pressure from the soul disappeared instantly, everyone breathed a sigh of relief and quickly got up. The eyes he looked at Su Junming were full of fear. Shen Bai, who was sitting at the top, came over quickly, clasping his fists and bending over. The city god Shen of Lingzhou City in Fuyu Kingdom must pay homage to the immortal. The ghosts and gods under him also bowed and saluted, with extremely respectful manners. Lord City God, please get up. I'm just wandering here. Shangxian, you're welcome. Just call me Shen Bai. After saying this, he turned around and said, Shangxian, please take a seat. After looking at the furnishings that looked like the lobby of a county government office, Su Junming shook his head. Shen Chenjuang's place is more elegant. This city god's Dharma realm is full of filth. If the immortal does not abandon it, the backyard of the mortal city god's temple will be very elegant. Just go there. Su Junming's body flashed with light and disappeared instantly. You are optimistic about this place, and you should each do your duty. I will come back as soon as I go. Shen Bai turned around and confessed. Sir, let me go with you. A ghost general wearing a helmet and armor, dressed as a general and with a strong aura came over and said. No need. The other party is Yuan Shendaxiu, and the entire Chenghuang Dharma realm is no match for him, so don't waste your efforts. But it's nothing. Just stay here and wait for me to come back. Su Junming, who had arrived at the backyard of the city god's temple, moved the bronze mirror to look at the situation in the city god's Dharma realm, and thought to himself, this person is really aware of current affairs. In a flash of light, Shen Bai was already in front of him. What does the immortal think of this place? Very good. Not that he was being polite. In the backyard of the mortal city god's temple, there are deep ancient trees and blooming flowers. There is a lake in the middle, which merges with the rockery spring pool. Under the moonlight after the rain, it is particularly bright and clean. Compared with the daytime, it has a unique flavor. Su Junming walked to a pavilion by the lake. After a brief look, he turned around with his hands behind his hands. The scenery here is indeed wonderful. Shen Chenghuang is such an elegant man. It's just a game, it shouldn't be praised by gods. Su Junming smiled lightly. Can Shen Chenghuang explain to me the origin of Lingzhou city god? My pleasure. After nodding, Shen Bai organized his words. The Lingzhou city god was established by the Wu dynasty 1,000 years ago. The leader of the Wu dynasty replaced the immortal Wei with Shinto. He granted amnesty to the city god and land management officials all over the country, and set up day and night wandering gods to patrol the country. At that time, Fuyo state was not yet Fuyo state, but Lingzhou under the command of the Wu dynasty. And I am the city god who pardoned Lingzhou from the Wu dynasty. Although the Wu dynasty later collapsed due to the counterattack of the immortals, Lingzhou was lucky enough to escape because it was far away from Wu dynasty, and Lingzhou's city god system was also completely preserved. Come down. Su Junming nodded slightly. He had also read about the Wu dynasty, a dynasty that combined humans and gods and suppressed the immortal Wei with Shinto. The founder of the Wu kingdom was too ambitious and wanted to become the emperor of heaven, replace the immortal Wei with the divine Wei, control the human Wei, and rule the world forever. However, because of his brutal suppression of the immortal Dao, various factions of the immortal Dao finally came together to attack. After a great war, the Wu dynasty fell apart. The Shinto dynasty has also become a thing of the past, but I didn't expect that in this land of the East China Sea, there are still remnants left by Wu. You are so lucky to have survived the war that destroyed the country. Shen Bai smiled bitterly. If Lingzhou hadn't been far away overseas, and the immortal sects had suffered heavy losses after a battle and were in urgent need of recuperation, I wouldn't have stayed. Su Junming nodded. He didn't believe it was just because of these reasons. But it was already a matter of sesame seeds and rotten millet, and he didn't want to ask about it. How many years have you been a city god here? 936 years. Although the Yuanying monk only has a lifespan of 800 years, the city god is a divine Wei. As long as the incense continues, he can exist forever and die with this world. Nearly 1,000 years is really a long time. After finishing speaking with a slight sigh, since you are the city god, have you ever seen the underworld? Shen must know where the hell he is talking about is. He shook his head now. Su Junming was a little disappointed. Although he knew that this underworld had completely disappeared tens of thousands of years ago after the ancient war, he still wanted to find it. because he wanted to try to see if he could contact Simu. Unfortunately, the response was still negative. In that case, what is the purpose of detaining those innocent souls? I just want to prevent them from causing trouble. Although the city god's yin realm is not big, it still suppresses these ghosts. Su Junming nodded slightly. Although there is no underworld in this world, there is reincarnation. After a person dies, as long as he does not resist reincarnation, he will disappear after 7 days. Su Junming once used a bronze mirror to analyze that the power that makes ghosts disappear is the omnipresent divine power of reincarnation in heaven and earth. But he didn't know whether this power sent the ghost to the underworld. The marks he left on Yinhun's body were all erased by the power of reincarnation. Of course, if you die crying out for injustice and resist reincarnation, you will become a ghost and remain in the mortal world. Because there are no yin soldiers, ghost soldiers, and yama underworld, and there is sufficient spiritual energy in this world, there are many ghosts. If it weren't for the suppression by the Xianjing division and various sects, the world of Liuzai would have been filled with ghosts and monsters. Shen Cheng Huang is so kind-hearted. It's my responsibility, I don't dare to praise you as much as I can. He glanced at Su Junming and asked carefully, I wonder what the name of the Supreme Immortal is. My name is Su Junming. Su Junming, after tasting it, his expression suddenly stopped. Su Junming? Master Chongshan. The sound instantly rose an octave. What, you know me? It turned out to be Master Chongshan in person. Although Shenbai was far away overseas, he had also heard about the great achievements of Master Chongshan in crushing the Black Heart Demon cult and wiping out the Longjiang Shui tribe. In particular, Master Chongshan hated evil, and his selfless style of conduct made Shenbai admire him even more. 2. Now that I can see a real person here, I am really lucky. Although it is difficult to tell whether the words are true or false, they are indeed very useful to the heirs. Although Su Junming was unmoved, he would not reach out to hit the smiling man. Shen Cheng Huang is too praised. No, although Shenbai is far away in Fuyu country, he has always admired the real person in his heart. It's just his duty and he can't get away from it. Otherwise, he would have gone to Daong to kowtow and listen to his teachings. You can't tell. This guy seems to be loyal and good. He flatters me all the time. He is even more slippery than Mr. Niu, and Kuei Niu stood aside and thought to himself. I don't take teaching seriously, but I have something I want to ask Shen Cheng Huang for advice. Sir, please tell me. Shen Biz knows everything and can tell you everything. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 447. Su Junming waved his hand. You don't have to be so serious. It's not a big deal. After a pause, you have been a city god here for nearly 1,000 years. Do you think you know the surrounding cultivation world very well? Shenbai was stunned for a moment and nodded quickly. I dare not say anything else. When it comes to understanding the Buddhist practice world in Fuyu, I ask myself to be second, and no one dares to claim to be first. That's good. Are there any big monsters and giants in Baiyo country and the surrounding ocean? Monster? Do you want to? Su Junming patted the green gourd on his waist. My wine gourd is empty. I want to kill some demons and drink it. Although the green gourd on his waist looks like a gourd, it is actually a refining furnace. All the demons he kills will be put into the gourd, and after impurities are removed, they will be turned into pure blood. These blood energies are the basis for his physical improvement. Last time, hundreds of thousands of demons from the entire Longjiang aquatic tribe, together with Longjiang Dragon King Aokun, made his physical body improve greatly. It is now at the 6th level, almost on the same level as the mana cultivation level. The effect of this blood energy made it difficult for him to give up. However, killing monsters indiscriminately to replenish blood is detrimental to merit, and a wise man would not do it. Therefore, he prepared to kill those demons with resentment to replenish his power. In this way, you can not only earn some merit, but also obtain the vitality needed for physical improvement. Kill two birds with one stone. Looking at the wine gourd on Su Junming's waist, Shen Bigong said, "As for monsters, Fuyu is located overseas. There are many giant monsters here, especially the monsters in the sea. The first one is the current national master of Fuyu Kingdom. This demon is a spirit of a sea snake with the perfect cultivation of nascent soul. After sneaking into Fuyu Kingdom, he confuses the current ruler, corrupts Zhaogang, frames Zhongliang, and makes Fuyu the whole country is in unrest, and what is even more abominable is that this demon secretly devours infants and uses the undegenerated innate spiritual power in their bodies to cultivate, making it the greatest harm to Baiyo country." Su Junming nodded slightly. "Since I have eliminated this demon, there is no need to talk about it." Shen Bai was shocked, nodded, and continued. "The second one is Zhu Shenlong in Weishan Lake, 80 miles to the southeast. This demon is a pig-shaped dragon that has become a spirit. It also has the perfect cultivation level of nascent soul. It has gathered more than 500 pig-shaped dragons and occupied the area. Weishan Lake and the surrounding 30 miles not only enslaved hundreds of thousands of people, but also turned the originally beautiful scenery and prosperous banks of Weishan Lake into a place where all industries are now in ruins. Zhu Pelong is a crocodile. When Su Junming killed the Longjiang Shui tribe monster, no less than 1,000 crocodile monsters died in his hands. He knew this kind of ferocious monster very well." Indicating Shen Bai to continue. "The third one is the royal tomb in Kongmyeong Mountain in the north of Fuyu Kingdom. This demon is a fierce tiger in the mountain that has become a spirit. It occupies thousands of miles of Kongmyeong Mountain and has thousands of demon troops under its command. It is the biggest scourge in the north of Fuyu Kingdom. These three monsters are the biggest monsters in Baiyo country, and they are also the ones who cause the most harm. If the real person gets rid of these three demons, half of the demonic evil in Baiyo's spiritual world will disappear." "Where's the remaining half?" Su Junming nodded and asked. "The remaining demons can be strangled by my ghost army. There is only one person and he has no fixed abode. I'm afraid it will be difficult to catch him." "Who?" "Golden Eye Taoist Baiyun, this person is from the Fuyu country. He is born with golden eyes. The golden light in his eyes can not only distinguish authenticity from falsehoods, but can also melt gold and iron. He is powerful. He is both good and evil, and his actions there are no taboos. He has done evil things such as exterminating his husband's family, and he also fought to the death to protect the safety of dozens of prefectures and counties in the north when he commanded the demon army in the Kongming Mountain King's tomb. So although this golden-eyed Taoist Baiyun is not as dangerous as the three demons, he is still an extremely dangerous existence." Su Junming nodded. "Except for Baiyo country, do you know the monsters in the surrounding sea? I heard that there is a king of divine guns in the sea to the west, who rules over 3,000 miles of sea area and has nascent soul level cultivation. However, the demons on land and the demons in the sea are not in conflict with each other, and in addition, the demons in the sea are all in conflict with each other. We fight every day, you sing and I come on stage, the sphere of influence changes from time to time. This king of sharpshooters has only appeared for 100 years, and I don't know exactly where it came from." Su Junming nodded. "Anything else?" "There are also some golden elixir level demons. I think such filthy things are not worthy of the eyes of a real person, so I didn't say anything about them. The quality of blood extracted by Jindan level demons is low, and the quantity is also small. There is really no need to understand it. As long as these guys don't hit his hands, Su Junming doesn't bother to care." Looking at Shen Bai respectfully. What you said is of great help to me. I won't let you suffer. After all, what do you want? Some news is insignificant, but real people are serious. Su Junming smiled lightly. This guy is so smart, kicking the ball back instead of imposing conditions himself is obviously the best way to strive for the maximum benefit while ensuring that he is not offended. I have a black underworld flag here, which is a middle-grade magic weapon with 6 forbidden laws. I will give it to you. Su Junming opened his palm, and with the support of his magic power, a black pennant flew towards Shen Bai. To the nascent soul cultivator, a middle-grade magic weapon is a valuable treasure that cannot be exchanged for a lot of money, but to Su Junming, who is proficient in weapon refining and has several powerful spiritual treasures, it is not a precious thing. Thank you, Master, for your generous gift. Shen Bai was so excited that he never expected that Su Junming would give him a magic weapon. I hope you can use this treasure to appease the place, kill demons, and create many merits. Yes, Shen Bai will never forget the teachings of the real person. Su Junming nodded slightly. By the way, I will take away those wronged souls in your Dharma realm, so that your city god Dharma realm will not be overcrowded and cause more trouble. As he spoke, his voice was ethereal, and the person had disappeared. Everything depends on the real person. Shen Bai said respectfully. A moment later, a ghost general in armor and an old man in purple official robes appeared around Shen Bai at the same time. Lord City God, all the evil spirits suppressed in the Dharma realm suddenly disappeared without a trace, the ghost general said hurriedly. No need to panic, no need to worry about it. Sir, what did the previous Yuan Shendaxiu do? The purple-robed old man stepped forward and asked. Shen Bai nodded. Does this person need the spirit of an innocent soul to practice his skills before he comes to our city god's ghost world? The ghost general asked. Don't talk nonsense. That person is the famous Master Chongshan in the Daong cultivation world. He hates evil as much as he hates it. He kills demons and subjugates them. How can he use his soul to practice magic? Master Chongshan. The ghost general and the purple-robed old man exclaimed at the same time. But that Chongshan Master Su Junming who wiped out the Black Heart Demon sect and the Longjiang Shui tribe, the purple-robed old man asked quickly. Shen Bai nodded in admiration. It's the senior real person. The ghost general and the purple-robed old man were stunned and speechless. After a long time, they heard the latter say, I didn't expect this real person to come overseas. Yes. It seems that from now on, the overseas cultivation world will be troubled. Shen Bidao. The ghost general and the purple-robed old man thought of Su Junming's past behavior and nodded in agreement. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 448. Chapter 441 Dingyang Jinren. After leaving the Chenghuang Temple. Master, those so-called demons are just nascent souls. Are they worth your efforts to fight against them? What, you want to do it for me? Kuei Niu had an excited look on his face. The master has finished his cultivation and his status is precious. Just leave little monsters like this to Lao Niu. Being around Su Junming, there were too many restrictions, so he could just take this opportunity to go out and be wild. Su Junming smiled faintly and was about to answer when his heart moved and he stopped. Since you are already here, why hide your head and show your tail? 100 meters ahead, an old Taoist with a childish face and fair hair, wearing a purple robe and holding a jade in his arms, suddenly appeared in the void above the road. Infinite Heavenly Lord, Master Su, the poor Taoist Ding Yang is polite. After Su Junming returned the gift. Master Ding Yang traveled thousands of miles from Kunlun to find me. Is there anything important? There are two main reasons why I came to look for the real person this time. The first is to thank the real person for helping to capture Yan Ruohe, the traitor of the Kunlun faction. The second. Master Din Jiang's eyes instantly solidified a bit, staring closely at the eyes of the Taoist opposite. I hope the real person can return the 7 treasures spiritual gourd, the most precious immortal root of my Kunlun section. Facing the other party's threatening eyes, Su Junming smiled faintly. Didn't the 7 treasures spirit gourd of your sect grow on the White Crane Cliff? How did it get back into the hands of this deity? Master Dingyang felt that this deity was easy to bully and wanted to pin the charge of stealing the treasure on me. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Junming's momentum rose into the sky like a volcano erupting. The tyrannical momentum was like a level 12 storm, crushing towards Genren Dingyang like lightning. The tyrannical momentum made Master Dingyang's face change slightly. He activated his Danshan mana, and his 9th level cultivation of Yuan Shen exploded. And momentum that was not inferior to that of Su Junming erupted like a mountain roar and a tsunami. Although the two of them did not take action, their momentum was like 2 angry giant dragons, colliding and biting each other, stirring up the storm and affecting thousands of miles. Most of Fuyu country was shaken by their momentum. Shen Bai, who had just returned to the Chenghuang Dharma realm, felt the tyrannical pressure and quickly led his subordinates to the outside quietly. The monks from Fuyu Junior High School who felt this momentum also rushed towards the scene of the incident. But no one dared to come within 100 miles. It's not that they don't have the guts, it's that the power of the Yuan Shen monks is extremely powerful. Once a war starts, it will be the most intense battlefield within 100 miles. Going in at this time is simply courting death. Master Dingyang was shocked. He never expected that Su Junming could compete with him by relying only on his cultivation level without relying on Lingbao. No wonder this guy was able to wipe out the Black Heart Demon cult and the Longjiang Shui tribe. His strength is truly extraordinary. Thinking of this, he was a little glad that he had not been reckless, otherwise the Kunlun sect would have followed in the footsteps of the Longjiang Shui tribe and the Black Heart Demon sect if he had offended this formidable enemy. Although the Kunlun sect belongs to the Orthodox Church, looking at Su Junming's decisive character and methods of killing in the past, we know that he will not be bound by the word Orthodox Church. Genren Su, the reason why Yan Ruohe calls our Kunlun sect a traitor is because he stole the 7 treasures spirit gourd, the immortal root of our sect, and 47 Dongming level spiritual fruits, jade pears, from the mountain. Since this son was captured by the real person, the spiritual treasure and the bag of magic were taken by the real person. The immortal root spiritual treasure that Yan Ruohe stole from me, Kunlun, was naturally taken by the real person. I hope that the real person can take the Kunlun sect into account and return the 7 treasures spirit gourd for the sake of our fellow righteousness. As for the jade pear and the spiritual treasures on Yan Ruohe, it will be regarded as the real person's reward for helping our sect capture the thieves. I don't know what the real person thinks. How? Dingyang Genren is well reasoned and speaks appropriately, so that he is not annoying to listen to. However, the 7 treasures spirit gourd is his trophy, and he likes it very much, so Dingyang Genren wants the red mouth and white teeth to go back. How is that possible? As for orthodoxy, I, Su Junming, always do things based on my heart, not because of any orthodox religion. The thought fell and he slowly shook his head. I don't know where the 7 treasures spirit gourd of your Kunlun sect is. As for Yan Ruohe, it is your Kunlun sect's household matter and I have no control over it, whether he is a traitor or not has nothing to do with me. The tone was decisive and left no room for doubt. Master Dingyang showed an angry look on his face. He thought that his conditions were tolerant enough, but he didn't expect that the other party was still so greedy. Zhen Zhensu really wants to hide his sect's immortal treasure. Wrong, I don't have your Kunlun fairy treasure in my hand. Okay, since the real person doesn't want to return it, then we will see Zhenjiang under our hands. If the real person can beat me, I will turn around and go back to Kunlun, and never mention the immortal roots again. It was originally planned to be a literary fight, but after being angered by Su Junming, Dingyang changed his mind. Su Junming smiled lightly. If you want to fight, why waste so much time? Come on. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Junming soared into the sky, and in an instant the clouds reached nearly 10,000 feet. Kuei Niu, take that black dog and stay away. Hey, I understand, sir. In response, he led the black dog and retreated thousands of feet. Feeling uneasy, he stepped back nearly 1,000 feet. He looked at Ding Yang Zhenren, who had escaped from the air and was confronting Su Junming 2,000 feet away. His Taoist robes were flying, his beard and hair were flying, and his expression was majestic. This old man is going to be in trouble. Unless he is an immortal, no one can match his strength. When it advanced to Yuan Shen, it was excited to challenge Su Junming. As a result, it was beaten all over the head by its own master. Even if it used Lingbao and its most proud innate magical power, it still couldn't beat the empty-handed Su Junming. Full of ambition, in the face of absolute strength, he was completely beaten. He had experienced the despair of having no chance of winning even if he tried his best. Su Junming was like a giant mountain whose top could never be seen, standing tall in Kuei Niu's heart, making him unable to have the slightest desire to resist. As time went on, there were more and more monks from the surrounding Fuyu kingdom. But everyone stopped 100 miles away in tacit agreement. Master Ding Yang, will you take action? Looking at the young Taoist with a calm and confident expression 2,000 feet away, Master Ding Yang took a deep breath. Although he was older and more senior than Su Junming, he didn't feel confident at all when facing the person opposite him. After all, whether it was Haishan Laomo, the original leader of the Black Heart Demon cult, or Ao Kun, the leader of the Longjiang Shui tribe, he had fought against each other before. Although both sides did not try their best, they could vaguely know the strength of the other party. To be fair, he was not absolutely sure to kill either of those two people. But they all died in the hands of the young Taoist opposite. Moreover, Ao Kun, the leader of the Longjiang aquatic tribe, was killed in his lair. What made Master Ding Yang feel particularly heavy was that Su Junming had no obvious injuries after killing these two demons. This shows that the opponent's strength is far superior to that of Black Heart Old Demon and Ao Kun. Despite this, he had to fight this battle. Because he represents not only himself, but Kunlun, which has stood for tens of thousands of years. It would be somewhat excusable if the Kunlun sect was overpopulated with the Seven Treasures spiritual gourd, the immortal root of the Zhen sect, and he tried his best but could not get it back. But if you don't care, that would be cowardice. The head of Kunlun can be inferior to others in strength, but he must not be a coward. Thinking of this, Master Din Jiang's eyes gradually became firm. In this battle, he must try his best no matter what. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 449. Chapter 442, Fighting. Zhenren Su, I'm offended. Master Ding Yang took a deep breath, flicked the jade ruyi in his hand, and golden light suddenly appeared. The extremely masculine and pure golden light, like a giant sword, illuminated the dark night. Su Junming opened his palm, and a grain of yellow rice flew out. Under the stimulation of magic power, the yellow rice that was originally only the size of a peanut expanded instantly, and in the blink of an eye it became thousands of meters tall. Black brilliance flashed, and extremely hot. The pure golden light disappeared instantly, as if it had been swallowed by something. Kunlun's true pure Yang Jade virtual skill is exquisite and unparalleled, and the pure Yang Jade Ruyi that matches it is even more magical. Now it seems that it is indeed the case, Su Junming said. Master Ding Yang looked solemnly at the yellow rice floating above Su Junming's head. Even if he had not practiced the way of Hushan, he could feel the powerful Hushan spiritual energy from it. Thank you Master Su for your compliment, but compared to the pure Yang Jade Ruyi in Pandao's hand, this pot heaven spiritual treasure from Master is even more wonderful. After saying this, the Jade Ruyi stood up high in his hand. Pure Yang Sword. The golden light of Jade Ruyi condensed into one piece, like a giant sword that continued to extend forward, and the tip of the sword pointed at Su Junming. He stretched out his hand and pointed, and the black mysterious light flashed from the yellow rice. He planned to repeat the same trick and take away the pure golden light of the sun condensed into the giant sword. But the pure yang sword was as solid as steel, extremely strong, and actually blocked his space cutting. Seeing this scene, Master Ding Yang showed a trace of satisfaction on his face. He was not a fool. Since he saw that the golden light of the sun could be taken away by the Huishan Lingbao, he certainly could not make the same mistake the second time. As soon as his eyes opened, his magic power surged. Go! Driven by the tyrannical magic power, the pure yang sword's penetrating power increased sharply, and it ran straight towards Su Junming. Feeling the power of the sword energy mixed with pure yang power, Su Junming was a little surprised. Although the moves are good, the Yimen Huangliang that I have painstakingly practiced, even if it is only 1/365, is not just capable of this. With a thought in his heart, the black light on the yellow rice instantly became darker. The pure yang sword chi lost its resistance and extended forward crazily. The face of Ding Yang Master, who was still a little proud at first, gradually became serious. The Chun Yang sword, which was transformed into Chun Yang Ruyi, his natal spiritual treasure, seemed to have penetrated into a vast space. No matter how hard he moved forward, he could not reach the bottom. No. There is a limit to the extension range of pure Yang Jade Ruyi. If it exceeds this limit, it will be useless to activate the mana. He gritted his teeth, raised his sword finger with his right hand, and made a volley in the air. The giant sword transformed by Chun Yang Ruyi seemed to be swung by someone and slashed down in the air. As soon as Master Ding Yang changed his moves, Su Junming sensed it. It's not that easy to leave. Point your finger. Space solidifies. The black brilliance on the original yellow rice instantly solidified, like a black piece of iron, integrated into one body. The face of Master Chun Yang who was operating the giant sword also changed. The pure yang sword light that was once flexible suddenly seemed to be tightly grabbed by someone. No matter how he urged it, he could not take it back, let alone change his moves. Following the calm-looking Su Junming on the opposite side, Master Chun Yang waved his hand, and a black bell with a powerful aura flew out from the danshan. With a boost of magic power, it instantly became thousands of feet tall. Looking at the gigantic bell in the sky like a giant mountain, everyone around them felt dazzled. The power that Lingbao exerts in the hands of Yuan Shen monks is truly astonishingly powerful. Kunlun sect's spiritual treasure Ziyang Bell. Su Junming had long heard of the reputation of this Kunlun sect's spiritual treasure, and when he activated it, it had great power. Chun Yang Master's Taoist robes were fierce, his long hair was flying, and the aura on his body was overwhelming for thousands of miles, shaking the world. He pointed his sword at both hands, his eyes widened in anger, and he shouted loudly. Disease. With a buzz sound, the Ziyang bell quickly rotated, and the dazzling purple gold light became stronger and stronger. Soon, a sun seemed to appear above Lingzhou city, illuminating everything within a radius of hundreds of miles. Along with this astonishing strange appearance, the aura on Ziyangzhou became stronger and stronger. Purple Yang Genshi. Boom. The mighty bells resounded throughout the world. The vast purple gold aura, like a vast ocean tide, crazily rolled towards Su Junming. The power of the powerful pure yang spiritual light combined with the sound of the bell is no longer 1 + 1 = 2, but has been increased by more than 10 times. Feeling the heat in the pure yang qi that seemed to burn even the skin and flesh, Su Junming's face became solemn. If his guess was correct, this Ziyang bell was once an immortal weapon, but after the world was not enough to accommodate the immortal weapon, it degenerated into a spiritual treasure with 12 levels of spiritual restraint. Such spiritual treasures, accumulated abundantly, are much more powerful than those perfect spiritual treasures that are cultivated from layers of sacrifices. Su Junming opened his palm, and 9 grains of yellow rice flew out, fused with each other, and turned into the size of an apple. With a casual finger, the yellow rice beams shined brightly, and the dark black light turned the surrounding area thousands of feet into the ultimate black. That kind of darkness without any impurities, as deep as an abyss, makes people instinctively fearful. When this black aura collided with the flying purple gold aura and bell, the latter seemed to fall into a bottomless pit and became silent instantly. Impossible. Master Dinjiang's face suddenly changed and he exclaimed in surprise. He thought that Su Junming could block this blow, but the Xiang bell was a spiritual treasure of perfection, and it was beyond his expectation that it could be blocked so easily. Haha, nothing is impossible. After his Yimeng Huangliang swallowed the demon's white bone relics and the innate sky clear stone, it was already a spiritual treasure with 12 levels of restraints. Although in terms of background, 1 grain of yellow rice is not as good as the Xiang bell, but 9 grains combined into one can surely beat it. Master Dinjiang's face kept changing, and his eyes gradually became firm. Using his hands, he changed several techniques, and his body instantly rose up, hundreds of feet tall in the blink of an eye, and then turned into a huge purple gold aura. This light swooped towards Chunyang Yuruyi, who seemed to have swallowed the Shiquan Dabu pill, and the distance instantly vibrated. With a buzz sound, the pure Yang Jade Ruyi broke free from the shackles of a single grain of yellow rice. Like a dragon going out to sea, its spiritual light became stronger and stronger, and the power it displayed increased steadily. Su Junming saw it in his eyes, and while he was secretly on guard, his eyes also showed expectation. The most powerful attack method for practitioners is to combine the soul and the natal spirit treasure into one, so that the strengths of both parties can be combined to the greatest extent. Its power is astonishing. Master Su, take another strike from me. Along with the sound that shook the world, the thousands-foot-long red gold sword seemed like a giant mountain toppling. With desperate pressure and extremely sharp sword energy, it slashed down towards Su Junming crazily. The fierce hurricane and heavy pressure enveloped Su Junming's whole body. If it were another Jindan monk, he would have been shocked to death under such strong pressure. But apart from making Su Junming's robe fit more closely to his body, it doesn't have much effect. Forget it, I'll let you give up completely. Grains of yellow rice flew out from the dantian, like fireflies flying up and down around Su Junming. Su Junming stretched out his hand. The lost soul bell. The yellow rice disappeared instantly, and a tall cocky clock appeared above Su Junming's head. There was no sound like Huangzong de Lu, just an invisible but extremely powerful ripple that spread out like lightning. Dingyang Genren, whose primordial spirit cooperated with the pure Yang Jade and turned into a giant sword, felt a buzz sound, and his whole primordial spirit seemed to have been hit by a giant hammer, and his mana, soul, and spiritual treasure were all out of control. I don't know how long it took for him to wake up. Feeling the faint pain in his soul, and seeing Su Junming standing with his hands behind his back, his robes flying not far away, his expression darkened. He understood that the other party had already shown mercy. Otherwise, his soul will be crushed to pieces by the mysterious spirit treasure. He stretched out his hand and made a move, and the pure Yang Jade Ruyi and Zi Yang Zhone flying not far away flew into his palm and disappeared. Thank you Master Su for showing mercy. I lost this fight. Su Junming nodded slightly. Master Dingyang is indeed worthy of being the leader of a sect, he can take it and let it go. In that case, I will take my leave. Wait a minute. After stopping Su Junming, can you tell me the name of the spiritual treasure that the real person used just now? This treasure is called Yimeng Huangliang, and it is my natal spiritual treasure. As the words fell, Su Junming's figure gradually blurred and then disappeared. Yimeng Huangliang. What a powerful spirit treasure. After sighing, Master Dingyang shook his head and disappeared. The war ended, leaving behind truly endless wonder. Genren Yuan Shen is indeed the strongest person in this world. With just one move of his hand, he can destroy mountains and open rivers and seas. Shen Bai, the city god of Lingzhou City who had seen Su Junming, sighed. It would be great if we could have such cultivation. The ghost general next to him said with envy. The others heard and nodded in agreement. A higher realm of cultivation is what everyone yearns for, but not everyone can achieve it as a Yuan Shen monk. The first level of the heavenly tribulation is really too difficult. 3 tribulations of wind, fire, and thunder, and 27 difficulties, have blocked 90% of the cultivators in the world who have perfected their nascent soul. Serious man, have mercy. When everyone was immersed in the overwhelming strength of the Yuan Shen monks, envious, jealous, and even fearful, screams were heard. However, it quickly disappeared. It sounds like the voice of the pig woman dragon demon in Weishan Lake, said the ghost general. Shen Bai nodded. Although Weishan Lake is hundreds of miles away from Lingzhou City, in the eyes of the monks, especially the Yuanying monks, this distance can be reached almost instantly. Therefore, the two families can be called neighbors and are very familiar with each other. Moreover, a few years ago, the pig woman dragon demon on Weishan Lake attacked here, but was repelled by Shen Bai with his ghost army. It's Genren Su. Thinking of what Su Junming asked him, Shen Bai's tone was firm. Why did Master Su kill the demon dragon? Did Nasi dare to provoke Yuan Shen Daxiu? The ghost general asked in confusion. It won't dare to provoke Yuan Shen Daxiu even if you give it 10 courages. However, Genren Su is different from other Yuan Shen Daxiu. He hates evil and kills decisively. Now that he encounters the demon dragon, of course he cannot be left alive to harm the people Shen Bidao. The ghost general nodded. It's good now. Without the constraints of Weishan Lake, I, the Lingzhou city god, no longer have a big threat. Yes. Genren Su is indeed a senior in the world of cultivation. He is kind-hearted and brave, which is admirable, Shen Bai sighed. It would be great if I could become a disciple of his hometown and learn Taoism, the ghost general said longingly. You forget it? Legend has it that outside the city of Zhongzhou in Daong, the real person set up a formation to test. There were nearly 1 million monks in Daong. In the end, only one person entered the Dharma eyes of the real person and was accepted as a disciple. It can be seen from this that the real person is very strict in accepting disciples. Even if a Shinto monk like you and me, who doesn't even have a physical body, goes to become a disciple, the real person will not accept him. After saying that, he sighed. Becoming a disciple was not his ultimate dream. However, he is more self-aware than his careless subordinates. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 450. Chapter 443, Black Dog Breaks Through. Damn dog, let go of your mouth. Kuei Niu was furious and just about to kick him. The black dog had already swallowed most of the roasted chicken in one gulp and fled behind Su Junming's recliner, leaving Kuei Niu holding onto the remaining chicken legs with an angry look on his face. Damn it, you shameless, nasty, despicable bitch, if you dare to steal your Niu master's things next time, see if I don't peel off your black skin. Looking at the furious Kuei Niu, the black dog hiding behind Su Junming's recliner showed a hint of human cunning and pride in his eyes. In anger, Kuei Niu wanted to teach the black dog a lesson, but looking at Su Junming who was lying on a recliner reading a book, he finally suppressed his anger. The master is much better than this hateful guy. Humph, I'll find another chance to deal with you later. Staring at the black dog fiercely, Kuei Niu looked at the chicken leg with the black dog's saliva in his hand. There was a trace of disgust on Niu's face. He was about to throw it away when he rolled his eyes and had an idea. The empty one was pinched with several seals, and while he was mumbling something, he stretched out his hand and the chicken drumstick in his hand changed instantly. In the blink of an eye, the chicken leg disappeared, and a leg of lamb, the size of a basin, exuding an alluring fragrance and roasted to golden brown, appeared in Kuei Niu's hands. Seeing this scene, the corners of Su Junming's mouth twitched. He never thought that the illusion skills Kuei Niu, a bastard, learned from him, were not used on his enemies, but instead used to seduce dogs. This is really unreasonable. But I have to say that his methods are indeed very useful. The black dog, who has not yet become a demon, has no spiritual consciousness, and cannot distinguish between real and fake. When he saw the leg of lamb, his eyes almost fell out, his nose twitched, and his saliva flowed down, quickly wetting the soil. The proud Kuei Niu spat on the leg of the lamb. "Old Hey, come on, let's taste the taste of Master Niu's saliva." The black dog swallowed the roast chicken in his mouth and screamed at Kuei Niu. Although it has not become a demon, its intelligence is not low, so it is natural to see that Kuei Niu is insulting him. The dog barked with anger. However, it also knew that it was no match for the old cow. After barking twice, it arched its head against Su Junming, with a look of grievance in its huge dog eyes. Patting its head, Su Junming showed a hint of helplessness on his face. "I have heard of dragons and tigers fighting each other, and cats and mice are incompatible with each other, but I have never heard of dogs and cows disliking each other." Ever since this black dog followed him, he has been fooling around with Kuei Niu all day long. Even if he was afraid of being beaten by Kuei Niu, he would tease the hot-tempered Kuei Niu the next day. He has seen scenes similar to today's scenes countless times in the past 3 months. He turned his head and looked at the proud Kuei Niu. "You too, don't you feel disgusted if you use illusions instead of saying anything, and you spit and covet a dog? Master, you don't know how annoying that bitch is." The guinea fowl I roasted with great difficulty was taken away by him without even taking a bite. Who doesn't know how to pretend to be pitiful? At this time, Kuei Niu's face was full of grievances. "Okay, don't make any more trouble. Otherwise, I will put them all in solitary confinement." When it comes to confinement, Black Dog and Kuei Niu calmed down instantly. The last time the two of them had a serious quarrel, Su Junming threw them into a dream. In that endless darkness, there is no time, space, and no aura. In that kind of absolute void, within a moment or 3, all the anger and courage will disappear, leaving only endless fear. If you experience it once, there will be no dogs or cows, and you hope to experience it a second time. 1 cow and 1 dog left Su Junming's Chongshan residence obediently. Being disturbed by them, Su Junming could no longer read the Yugzu Heart Sutra in his hand. This volume of exercises he obtained from Yan Ruohei's memory is one of the 4 true traditions of the Kunlun section, standing side by side with the Pure Yang Jade Void Kung Fu, the 6 Yang Magic Kung Fu, and the Ice Phoenix Purifying Heart Sutra. However, compared to other techniques, Su Junming was most interested in Yugzu Heart Sutra. Because this technique is rare in the world of cultivation and focuses on the soul path. Among them, the explanation of the way of the soul by the senior practitioner of the Kunlun sect was extremely useful for his future practice. Moreover, this volume of Yugzu Heart Sutra records many methods of using the soul, which greatly makes up for his shortcomings of high vigilance and insufficient means. Although this is not a shortcoming in Su Junming's view, after all, with his strength and the Lingbao, it is powerful enough. To defeat 10 levels with 1 force, there is no need for any extra techniques. But if it is a disciple of the inheritance, this is obviously a big flaw. Now with the addition of this Yugzu Heart Sutra and Su Junming's previous enlightenment, this soul path finally has a relatively complete inheritance under his sect. Putting away the jade slip that recorded the Yugzu Heart Sutra, Su Junming took a step forward, his body flying like clouds, and slowly landed on the Creation Island in the center of the Creation Spirit Pond. Although this island, which Su Junming had practiced using the Hushan method, was only 1 acre in size on the surface, it was actually hundreds of miles in size. The 2 pine trees of Guzi Gong, Wukai Jinxiu, 3 red flame spiritual bamboos, and the newly obtained 7 treasures spirit gourd are the most valuable things on the entire island, and they are also immortal roots. However, as the number of immortal roots in his hand increased, Su Junming discovered it. The red flame spiritual bamboo is the lowest grade, followed by the 5 colorful brocade pine tree, then the Guzi Gong obtained from the Mishanzongmen cave in the 9 Uncle world, and finally the 7 treasures spiritual gourd. Su Junming didn't know what grade the 7 treasures spiritual gourd was, but he found through the bronze mirror that the concentration of innate spiritual energy inside it far exceeded the total number of 2 plants and the red flame spiritual bamboo. Moreover, after entering a superior environment such as Su Junming's creation spirit pond, the innate spiritual energy in the 7 treasures spirit gourd is still growing. It can be seen that when the spiritual energy is sufficient in the future, the spiritual energy in the 7 treasures spirit gourd will definitely be stronger than now. He landed on the Fihi cliff where the 7 treasure spiritual gourds were cultivated. He took a quick look and saw that the red gourd among the red spiritual flowers had grown a little bigger. When it was first planted here it was only about the size of a fingertip, but now it has doubled in size and looks as big as a teacup. In addition, the white gourd flower has grown second only to the red gourd flower. Although it has not grown a gourd yet, judging from the smell, it is almost there. After checking it, Su Junming nodded with satisfaction. He has a special liking for the gourd magical weapon, otherwise he would not have trained the green gourd ritual that was once just a spiritual weapon into a spiritual treasure, and would still hang it on his waist. This was one of the reasons why he would rather fight with Genren Dingyang than keep the 7 treasures spirit gourd. Just as he was happily packing up his beloved gourd spiritual root, Kuei Niu's voice suddenly came through the spiritual talisman. "Master, that black dog guy is about to break through." Su Junming was stunned, put down the man in his hand, took a step, and disappeared in an instant. The black dog is not just a dog, it is also related to the souls of 8 babies. If it dies, the souls of the 8 children will also disappear. There's no reason why he doesn't pay attention to it. When Su Junming appeared, it was on a high mountain in the Spirit Beast Villa. There is a cave on the top of the mountain. Above the entrance of the cave is written Thunder God Cave in somewhat ugly etched characters. After passing through the cave and turning 2 corners, there is a large stone chamber. There are several branch holes on the left and right sides of the stone chamber and behind it. A fist-sized luminous pearl illuminates the huge cave as if it were daytime. The floor of the cave was polished extremely smooth, with stone tables and benches placed there, as well as a small amount of decoration. At this moment, Kuei Niu was standing to the side, while the black dog was lying on the ground. The aura on his body was alternately strong and weak, which was extremely unstable. Hearing the footsteps, Kuei Niu stepped forward quickly. "Master! What's going on? Dehei's foundation is not strong, and it hasn't reached the stage of breaking through yet. Why is it about to break through?" Kuei Niu smiled bitterly. "I was negligent. After taking the elixir, I forgot to activate the restriction and close the elixir room, so Lao He sneaked in and swallowed the unused Sanhuang elixir that the master had given me before." After finishing speaking, Kuei Niu quickly said, "Master, my magic power is too violent and is not suitable for guiding Lao He to digest the power of medicine. Please take action. If it takes longer, this dog's life will be lost." Sanhuang Dan is an elixir taken by golden elixir monks. Although the medicinal properties are mild, for those who have not yet advanced to the golden elixir, the properties of the medicine change from mild to violent, while black dog continues to not innately. If it is delayed for a long time, its Danshan meridians will be burst by the violent power of the medicine. Su Junming also knew that the matter was urgent, so he stretched out his finger, and with the aura, the violent medicinal power in the black dog's body calmed down instantly. Under his guidance, the medicinal power moistened the black dog's body bit by bit and slowly allowed it to be absorbed. About the past month, under the guidance of Su Junming and nourished by the medicinal power of Sanhuangdan, the aura of the black dog became stronger and stronger. Su Junming suddenly opened his eyes and drank. If it's not broken now, how can it be worse? Woof. The sound of a dog barking was like a broken stone, thick and loud, and the whole cave was recalling it. Immediately afterwards, two faint blue flames lit up from the black dog's eyes, and the originally dark fur became even darker. The fur seemed to be a ball of indigo that could not be dissolved, even the light was sucked in. Black dog's body is also 2 times larger than before, with strong muscles, a slender figure, and full of explosive power. The body that was once 3 feet tall and 4 feet long now reaches 5 feet at the shoulder, and its body length exceeds 7 feet. The thick limbs, strong and powerful, and sharp claws made a sound of gold and iron when they touched the ground. If Kuei Niu had not set up a forbidden law in this cave, I would not be able to stop its iron claws. After advancing to the innate level, Black Dog became even more handsome. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 451. Chapter 444, Tianluo Umbrella. Compared with the changes in appearance, Su Junming paid more attention to the inner parts, especially the souls of the 8 babies. Through the bronze mirror, it can be clearly seen that the expressions on the faces of the 8 babies are a little more lively than before. The originally young body has also grown up a lot. Obviously, Black Dog's innate breakthrough has greatly nourished these symbiotic souls. However, injuries to the soul are the most difficult to repair, not to mention that these babies are all born with soul injuries, so repairing them is particularly difficult. Fortunately, they coexist with the Black Dog's soul. Unless Su Junming can overcome the disaster and become an immortal, it will be difficult to repair. He breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Now that the Black Dog's cultivation level had increased and could repair their souls, Su Junming felt relieved. He has many methods so that Black Dog can continuously improve his cultivation. Master. A familiar yet unfamiliar soul wave appeared in Su Junming's sea of consciousness. Seeing the clear intelligence in the Black Dog's eyes, Su Junming nodded. I will seal the remaining medicinal power of the 3 yellow pills in your danshan, and you will slowly refine it when you practice in the future. Thank you, sir. The newly born spiritual Black Dog's mind is similar to that of an 11 or 12-year-old child. He is still very naive, but he already understands the truth. You're welcome. However, you swallowed the pill carelessly this time and almost died from an explosion. You have to be punished. Niu Kuei. Kuei Niu, who was standing nearby, stepped forward quickly. Its body is Kuei Niu, and its name is Niu Kuei given to it by Su Junming. Please give me your instructions. You watch it, and when its cultivation is stable, put it in confinement for 3 days. Whoa! The Black Dog looked begging for mercy. However, Su Junming is not soft-hearted. Failure to punish mistakes is connivance. Although it was a mistake made by Black Dog before his intelligence was fully developed, this is not a reason for forgiveness. I know, Master, I'll take care of it. I've been almost pissed off by this Black Dog these past few days, and Kuei Niu is eager to teach this cunning guy a lesson. However, although Kuei Niu is careless, he always does things in a measured manner. If you leave the Black Dog to him, there won't be any big problems. When it comes out of seclusion, give him these 2 spiritual weapons. Su Junming waved his hand and handed Kuei Niu a Hushan talisman of spiritual weapon level and a netherworld flag made from the netherworld bone flag as a sample. It's not that he doesn't want to give the Black Dog a better treasure, it's just that it is just a newborn, and it can use spiritual weapons, magic weapons, and spiritual treasures even if it is exhausted. Yes, sir. Su Junming nodded and walked out. After leaving the Spirit Beast courtyard, Su Junming walked to Tiangong Hall. The scenery inside the heavenly palace remains unchanged. It is 1,000 feet high and 800 feet in diameter, shaped like an octagonal pagoda. This octagonal pagoda is dotted with large and small stone niches from top to bottom. According to different areas, different spiritual materials, magic weapons, and refined elixirs are stored. There are 8 lotus pedestals surrounding the pagoda, 7 of which are empty. The only one occupied is Su Junming's puppet, the monk's Hikong. With a casual throw, a large black iron umbrella nearly 10 feet long flew into the Tiangong divine furnace. This umbrella is the Tianluo umbrella that Su Junming refined earlier. Nowadays, this Lingbao, which is mainly based on Formation Dao and supplemented by Talisman Dao, has become a lot more useless as Su Junming has more and more Lingbao in his hands and is getting stronger and stronger. Even so, as one of the few Formation Spirit treasures in his hands, Su Junming did not intend to give up. The Tianluo umbrella flew into the lotus furnace of the Tiangong divine furnace and soon fell into the scorching flames. Su Junming stretched out his hand and a piece of 10,000 refined spiritual iron plundered from the Dragon Palace's treasure house flew into the Tiangong divine furnace. 10,000 refining spirit iron is the main material for refining metallic immortal weapons. Although Su Junming's piece of spiritual iron is called 10,000 refining spirit iron, it actually only has 9,900 refinings. However, the richness of the Xinjian spiritual energy contained in it is the best in this world. If you want to refine Tianluo umbrella again, this spiritual iron is not enough. Su Junming stretched out his hand and pointed, and countless talismans began to gather in the umbrella. At his level, quantity is no longer decisive. No matter how many Dongjin level spiritual talismans there are, they can't compare to one Dongming level spiritual talisman. Therefore, in addition to enhancing the strength of the innate Bagua array on the Tianluo umbrella, the second most important step in retraining the Tianluo umbrella is to turn hundreds of thousands of Dongzhen, Dongxian, and Daidong level spiritual talismans into Dongming level of talismans. This is a big project that won't be over anytime soon. In addition to Qinkan Sunzan, Canli Zhandui, and 8 kinds of spiritual talismans, the spiritual talismans in the Tianluo umbrella also have spiritual talismans with different attributes such as Hushan and creation. Although these spiritual talismans cannot increase the power of the Tianluo umbrella, they cannot give up. While practicing, Su Junming modified the spiritual taboo of the Tianluo umbrella that he had sketched in his mind. This training lasted 2 years. Because the original Tianluo umbrella is a spiritual treasure, after re-sacrifice, there is no need to survive the tribulation. However, compared to before, the newly trained Tianluo umbrella was shortened from the previous one to 4 feet. The slightly wrinkled black umbrella cover shines with a faint mysterious light and has a simple and unpretentious atmosphere. Although it looks inconspicuous, anyone with a discerning eye can see that this umbrella is extraordinary. After weighing it in his hand for a moment, Su Junming opened the umbrella ribs. The internal structure has not changed much. In the middle is the main rib, which is slightly thicker than an adult's thumb, and on both sides are 8 auxiliary ribs that are much thinner. The 9 umbrella ribs are all made of black 9,900 refined iron, which looks extremely hard and tough. This iron umbrella looks similar to an ordinary umbrella, but the real mystery lies in what is invisible to the naked eye. Like 8 auxiliary umbrella ribs, each one contains 9 Dongming level spiritual talismans. These talismans correspond to 8 different attributes of Qinkan Sunzan, Canli Zhandui. In addition, after Su Junming combined the extra spiritual talismans into higher grade spiritual talismans, the Tianluo umbrella was eliminated. After this sacrificial practice, Tianluo umbrella's original hodgepodge of spiritual talismans has now become more unified, and its power is naturally stronger. In 2 years, more than just a spiritual treasure has changed. Black Dog has also advanced to the late stage of Xiantian, and with the spiritual treasure given by Su Junming, he has a certain ability to protect himself. Su Junming activated the bronze mirror and looked at the dark red blood in the black dog's body. He clearly felt a ghostly aura from it. The nether dog's bloodline is even richer. The black dog shook his head. Master, since my bloodline is stronger, why haven't I awakened my innate magical powers yet? Moreover, I still haven't figured out why the souls of these 8 brats are symbiotic with mine. It's not the only one who hasn't figured it out. Even Su Junming still hasn't figured out why the souls of the 8 babies can coexist with the soul of the black dog. However, he was certain that this must be related to the awakened nether dog bloodline in the black dog. As for whether it is true or not, he is not 100% sure now. He can only wait until black dog's strength gets closer before looking at it. After letting the black dog go, Su Junming left Chongshan residence where he had stayed for 2 years. When he appeared in the outside world again, it was a suburb with lush trees. After he wiped out all the demons above Nascent Soul in Fuyu country, he left there. Baiyo is not the only country in the East China Sea. This vast ocean of nearly 1,000,000 miles is dotted with countless islands. There are hundreds of countries, large and small. The larger country is similar to Baiyo, with a territory of nearly 1,000 miles and tens of millions of people. A smaller country may only have an island 100 miles away, with only a few thousand people under its rule. Su Junming is now located in a maritime country called Dao State, which is hundreds of miles away from Fuyu State. Dao Kingdom is slightly larger than Baiyo Kingdom, but there are several more plains on the island, so the population is quite large. In addition, several generations of kings have worked hard to govern, and the people are relatively rich. After arriving here, Su Junming originally planned to continue traveling, but after taking the blood squeezed from the demons in Fuyu, his physical cultivation reached the breakthrough point, so he temporarily stopped here and returned to Chongshan residence. Later, he broke through to the 7th level of Tiangang realm in martial arts. He took advantage of the opportunity to improve his cultivation quickly after breaking through. He practiced in Chongshan Center for a period of time. Later, he had to refine treasures and raise dogs. It took him more than 4 years to come out. Looking at the road at the foot of the mountain, Su Junming waved, and Kuei Niu and Black Dog flew out. Kuei Niu transformed into an ordinary green bull and carried Su Junming to the foot of the mountain, followed by the black dog. This slightly weird group walked forward in a swaying manner. Pedestrians walking on the official road turned their heads from time to time to look at this strange combination. Tisk Tisk said a few words of praise, then turned and left. However, there are also those who like dogs. After seeing the extremely handsome black dog, they approached Su Junming and were willing to pay a high price to buy the black dog. Whenever he encountered such a person, without Su Junming opening his mouth, the black dog would become furious, baring his sharp teeth, barking loudly, and driving these guys away mercilessly with his strong body. Fortunately, he knew his master's nature, so he didn't really hurt anyone. The further we walked, the thicker the water vapor became. Soon the sound of rushing water flowed into the eardrums. Not long after, a large river 20 or 30 feet wide came into view. A river 100 meters wide is no longer small. In terms of productivity in ancient times, unless there were practitioners taking action, there would be no way to build a bridge across such a river. However, even if a practitioner can do it, he will not waste his precious mana and spiritual materials for the mud-legged people. When Su Junming came over with Kuei Niu and Black Dog, a small town appeared in his eyes. It is said to be a town, but in fact its size is more like a village, with only a few people in total. Calling it a village, there are many things here that are not available in the village. Such as inns, restaurants, carriage shops, ferries for people to cross rivers, etc. Although the place is not big, there are many people and it is extremely lively. Sir, Lao Niu, I smell the aroma of roast chicken, Kuei Niu's divine consciousness said. Woof woof. Old Hey, can't you speak? Master Dog, I have always felt that the barking can better reflect the urgency of Master Dog, my desire to eat roast chicken. Hearing these words, Su Junming shook his head secretly. It is said that those who are close to vermilion are red, and those who are close to ink are black. This sentence is really suitable for black dogs. The originally loyal black dog became completely like Kuei Niu after being taught a lesson by Kuei Niu. The two guys are now very lazy and greedy, and they have a special liking for roast chicken and wine. Barking is a sign of lower animals, speaking is the sign of a practitioner. He looked at the black dog with contempt. When you bark again in the future, don't stand with me, old cow, I can't afford to embarrass that person. When the black dog heard this, he became angry instantly. Stupid cow, you humiliated me. Yes, that's right. Bite me if you can. Seeing the pride on the green cow's face, although the black dog wanted to bite it, it was a late-stage congenital dog and was not even qualified to carry someone's shoes in front of Kuei Niu, a second-level Yuan Shen cow. The black dog rolled his eyes and ran to Su Junming, with a look of tears on his face as he said aggrievedly, Master, this old cow is bullying me. Su Junming twitched the corner of his mouth. This kind of trick like crying wolf has been played by black dogs many times. If Su Junming still falls for it, then he is really a stick. Gun gun, don't trouble me with such nonsense in the future. After defeating the black dog with a wave of his hand and letting it quarrel with the green cow, the group gradually walked into the town. A dozen two-story village shops built with rough logs became clearer. Business travelers from afar, carrying cargo or driving carriages, walked into the courtyard behind the inn or restaurant. Su Junming used a blind shielding technique to avoid everyone's gaze. Kuei Niu instantly transformed into a human form, but the black dog had nothing to do. Having awakened the bloodline of the nether dog, it would need at least a golden elixir or even a nascent soul to transform into another form. The waiter who opened the door to welcome customers saw Su Junming and hurriedly greeted him. Taoist master, please come in. Before he finished speaking, he saw Kuei Niu walking in from behind. He was tall, with a lion's nose and a wide mouth, like a giant man. He was instantly enveloped by a tall figure, and a feeling of fear involuntarily arose in his heart. Before the fear disappeared, a large black dog about half a man tall walked in slowly behind the giant man. Dogs were not allowed to enter the restaurant, but looking at the huge size of the black dog, the boy didn't have the courage to stop him. Then open your mouth and you're not afraid to bite my arm off in one bite. Thinking of this, I trembled in my heart. Seeing that the group of people seemed to be headed by the Taoist priest, they quickly ran over. However, the fear in his heart made him move to Su Junming's left side. On the right is the one who jumped on the bench, with two thick front paws lying on the table, and his deep eyes staring at his big black dog. Taoist master, eat, what do you want to eat? Although he asked this question, the young waiter still focused more on the black dog, fearing that it would suddenly rush up and bite him. Don't worry, my dog doesn't want people. Su Junming smiled and comforted. The waiter swallowed. Master, how did you raise this dog? This head is too big. Haha, Taoism always has some abilities that are different from ordinary people. The waiter admired him and said, the Taoist master is indeed a Taoist master and has real abilities. In response to the compliment, he smiled without hesitation. Bring us all your specialty dishes, your roast chicken, and your good wine. After saying that, he spread out his left hand and placed 20 taels of silver on the table. You take these first. If they are not enough, we will make up for them later. When the waiter saw the silver, his eyes lit up. He was no longer afraid and picked up the silver excitedly. Don't worry, the roast chicken and old wine in our store are the best in Jindian County. I guarantee that you will not regret eating it and will want to eat it again. Since it's delicious, go and get it quickly, don't be nagging, Kuei Niu said. Okay, I'll go right away. You two gentlemen, Please wait a moment. I'll be back soon. Remember to add more meat, we can all eat it. Understood. Don't worry, gentlemen, our store doesn't have much else, it just has a lot of meat. After that, he left in a hurry. My train of thought is not going smoothly, there is only this big chapter today. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 452. Old dog, if you steal my chicken again this time, Master Niu will chop you into pieces, Kuei Niu said fiercely. Although Black Dog, who relies on Su Junming's support, is not as good as others, he is not inferior in terms of momentum. The round dog eyes stared at Kuei Niu angrily. Stupid cow, if you want to eat alone in front of Master Dog, there is no way. Su Junming has seen too many bickerings between dogs and cows. He used to find it annoying, but now he is a little resigned to it. These two guys also enjoyed it a bit. If they didn't quarrel or bicker twice every day, they would feel uncomfortable all over. Su Junming was just about to teach them a few words and tell them not to go too far. Before he could open his mouth, his eyes were attracted by a Taoist priest who walked in from the door. This person was wearing an apricot Taoist robe, followed by 2 Taoist boys in green clothes. The Taoist boy carried a long sword on his back, while the leading Taoist priest had a magic bag hanging on his waist and a soft whip in his hand. Su Junming felt the strong smell of blood from the soft whip. The waiter. The taller Daotong shouted loudly after entering the door. Here we come, Master Dao. The waiter hurried over. The Taoist boy glanced around and saw a trace of contempt in his eyes when he saw the peddlers and footmen here. However, after seeing Su Junming's strange combination, he took a second look. Are there any seats left? I'm very sorry, the shop is full today. If the 3 Taoist priests don't mind, you can wait aside now. The guests at other tables have finished eating, and we will clean them out immediately so that the 3 Taoist priests can take their seats. The waiter said politely. Full house. The Taoist boy smiled coldly and turned his head. Junior brother, he said, it's full. Let's clean it up for him. The short Taoist boy next to him was slightly shorter and had a black mole on the left corner of his lip. There was a trace of anger on his face. What senior brother said is true. The 2 of them walked forward to the nearest table. Sitting here are 4 strong men, all of whom are businessmen on the move. Judging by their aura, they are not easy characters to offend. When the 2 Taoist boys came over menacingly, they each put their hands on the swords they carried. This action was not hidden from the 2 Taoists. Hey, you are a bunch of bastards, you still want to resist. After saying that, Gao Daotong's right hand reached out like lightning, and before the other party could react, he grabbed it by the collar. Get out of here. With a casual throw, and with great strength, the caught strong man was thrown out like a ball. The same was true for the strong man next to him who was caught by the short Taoist boy. 4th uncle, 9th uncle, you. The younger man next to him became furious and was about to draw a knife to resist, but was stopped by the older man next to him. Obviously, compared to the young and passionate nephew Bei, who is already in his 30s, he is much more stable. Hey, you guys know what's going on, why don't you get out of here? The tall, strong man said coldly. You. Stone, calm down. An older traveler stopped the young man and hurried out with the 4 people's belongings. Having been traveling outside for many years, he knew very well that there were some people whom he should not mess with. Looking at the skills of these Taoist priests, it is obvious that they have cultivation skills. They are just proficient in fists and feet. They can deal with a few thieves, but when dealing with these monks, even the lowest monks are like moths flying into the flames. Therefore, even if he was angry in his heart, he had to endure it. Waiter, please put your things away quickly, we need to eat. The timid waiter did not dare to say anything and quickly cleared the table. The two Taoist boys nodded with satisfaction, then turned around and walked up to the Taoist priest who was wearing an apricot yellow Taoist robe, carrying a soft whip, and a cold expression. "Master, please." At this moment, there was no hint of arrogance on their faces, but rather a look of flattery, just like the servants of those wealthy families. The Taoist priest nodded arrogantly, walked to the table, and sat down with a golden sword. "Sir, these three guys are really arrogant. And based on their behavior, Lao Niu probably isn't a good person, so just kill them," Kuei Niu said. Su Junming nodded, but looking at the bloody whip held by the middle-aged Taoist priest, he knew that he was not a good person. He came all the way east with Kuei Niu, and such people were basically slaughtered. However, this middle-aged Taoist priest's cultivation level is only around the middle stage of Xiantian. Letting Kuei Niu deal with it is overqualified. It is better to leave it to the black dog to practice. Thinking of this, Su Junming turned around and looked. The black dog who was sitting on the seat wrinkled his nose, suddenly jumped down, turned around and ran towards the door. Su Junming frowned slightly, instinctively sensing something fishy. "You stay here, I'll go over and take a look." After explaining Kuei Niu, Su Junming turned around and walked out of the restaurant's main entrance. The two people who had just been thrown out were slowly getting up with the help of two men. Fortunately, there was a dirt road outside the inn. Otherwise, he would have been thrown out of the window 7 or 8 meters across and hit the ground hard, and half his life would have been lost. Even so, being thrown down like this is not pleasant. Su Junming saw this in his eyes, flicked his fingers, and 2 rays of spiritual light entered their bodies, quickly traveled along the meridians, straightened the misaligned muscles and bones, and opened the blocked meridians, and then everything was fine. After doing this, I heard the surprised voices of the 2 men and stopped looking. I walked around the bumpy dirt road on the left and came to the back of the yard. It is surrounded by several side houses and high fences to form a large yard of 300 to 400 square meters. There are merchants' carriages loaded with goods parked in the yard. Among the few carriages there are 4 that are particularly special. Not only was it covered with a black curtain, but a guard was also left behind. The attire of the caretaker is the same as that of the 2 Taoist boys in the restaurant just now. They are also dressed as Taoist boys. The 2 stood together, talking and laughing without any scruples. "This dog is so big. Junior brother, how about killing this black dog and letting us eat a meal of dog meat?" "He, senior brother has said so, how can I refuse, junior brother? You going up or me going up? It's just a dog, junior brother, I can take care of it." The sturdy Taoist man rolled up his sleeves and walked towards the black dog with a sinister smile on his face. The black dog has a strong body and is very intimidating in the eyes of ordinary people, but in the eyes of these Taoists with foundation building cultivation, strong body and internal energy, it is not a threat at all. Just when he felt that he was about to capture it, the black dog stood still, as fast as lightning. Before he could recover, a thick black claw was already in front of him. The strong Taoist priest only felt his head buzzing, as if he had been hit by a giant hammer. Suddenly, stars appeared in front of his eyes, and all the strength in his body slowly drained away. Then his eyes went dark, and he knew nothing. Seeing this scene, the tall and thin Taoist priest next to him was shocked. Just when he was about to scream and call his brothers and master who were eating in the restaurant in front, the black dog pounced on him like lightning. There was no change in the moves. With one claw move, the tall and thin Taoist priest rolled his eyes and quickly fell to the ground. The black dog landed and Su Junming also came over. "What happened?" "Master, I sense that there is a strong nine-child Yingsha here." Su Junming's expression changed. The so-called nine-child infant evil refers to the evil spirit produced after a baby under 1 year old is tortured to death. This is an acquired evil spirit that is closest to innate and has powerful power. Many inhumane demon cultivators use this evil spirit to practice magic weapons. Moreover, he knew that Black Dog practiced the netherworld path and was particularly sensitive to evil spirits and yin energy. Wow! The Black Dog activated his magic power and lifted the black cloth covering the carriage. A cage about 6 feet long, 3 feet 3 inches wide, and 4 feet high was revealed below, and was made entirely of wood. Inside the cage were a dozen little lambs huddled together. Su Junming, who had already activated the bronze mirror, looked extremely ugly. With a wave of his hand, the spiritual light swept across. A dozen little lambs instantly changed their appearance, and with the squirming movement, a dozen little babies about 1 year old, wearing sheepskins, appeared in place. The original bleating sheep cry has turned into the low cry of a child. But the cry was weak and weak. The art of making animals. Su Junming's face was ashen. He did not hate killing. But what he hates is attacking infants and young children who are powerless. Every time he encounters such a bastard, he will break his body to pieces and leave his soul in disarray. The spell was broken, and the middle-aged Taoist priest who was eating in the restaurant instantly felt something. His expression changed. Something happened to the cargo, come with me. After saying that, he dodged and rushed towards the backyard. The two apprentices quickly grabbed their swords and followed. Kuei Niu did not stop him, nor did he follow him out. What kind of trouble can't be solved with my master's ability? He drank a glass of wine while minding his own business, bit off the chicken leg and chewed it in his mouth. The alluring aroma made Kuei Niu have a look of enjoyment on his face. Looking at the exposed child in the cage, the middle-aged Taoist priest stared at Su Junming with a gloomy expression. I don't know what went wrong with Gideon's system and it has been unable to be opened, so I'm sorry for the late upload. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 453. Who are you, sir, and why do you want to touch the next shipment? Goods. Su Junming's heart was filled with murderous intent. Master, leave these bastards to me, Lao He. When I was a beast, my intelligence was not yet enlightened, but I committed a major crime. Master, I will not abandon you and stay by my side to teach you. Although the master said that as long as I can make the souls of these 8 children intact and reincarnate, I can make up for the crime. But I, Lao He, feel uneasy. Therefore, when I advanced to Xiantian, I swore a strong oath to use 100,000 good deeds. Forgive me for the sins I have committed. This bastard can be regarded as Lao He's first good deed. The face of the somewhat cynical Black Dog, who had been led astray by Kuei Niu, now showed an indescribable solemnity. Su Junming glanced at him and nodded. Since you have this intention, sir, of course I will support you. I'll leave this dirty Taoist priest to you. Thank you, sir. Don't worry yet. Remember to leave his soul to me. I want to see if there are any other villains behind this person. Don't worry, sir, I'll take care of it. Seeing that there was no movement between the man and the dog, the middle-aged Taoist priest hesitated for a moment, then activated his magic power, and the long whip in his hand was like a spiritual snake, flying towards Su Junming like lightning. The long whip is like a snake, flexible and strange, and the jet-black whip body exudes a strong evil aura. Su Junming stood with his hands behind his back, making no unnecessary movements. But the black dog next to him pounced forward like lightning, with a speed that was shocking. The middle-aged Taoist priest's expression suddenly changed. Demon. Surprised, he wanted to change his tactics, but there was not enough time. He took a step forward and dodged like lightning. He could hide away, but his 2 disciples couldn't. The black dog lightning waved its claws, and the 2 heads of Gilu fell down. The blood sprayed and soaked the black dog's body, adding to its evil aura. Whoa! After it landed, its deep eyes stared at the middle-aged Taoist priest, its fangs were sharp and its murderous intent was deep. This demon dog is so fast. The middle-aged Taoist priest was startled, and his vigilance instantly increased by several levels. Being able to control such a powerful demon dog, wouldn't it mean that the King Bao Taoist behind him is even stronger? As soon as the thought came to his mind, the black dog pounced forward again like lightning, this time faster. However, having learned from the past, the middle-aged Taoist priest flicked his hand, and the long whip in his hand instantly extended, and the circles were like an amplified trumpet, blocking the way in front of him. The black dog was in the air, opened his mouth and spat out, and a small black flag the size of a palm flew out. Xiaoban had a flash of inspiration, and the thick Xianming Qi shot straight towards the black whip like a sharp arrow. As soon as the two sides touched, the middle-aged Taoist priest instantly felt a strong force pouring into his body like an overwhelming force. After receiving this blow, the magic power was instantly scattered. I was horrified. Spiritual weapon. His black dragon whip is a top-notch magical weapon, and the only thing that can be stronger than it is a spiritual weapon. After thinking about it clearly, I instantly felt like retreating. What's more, there is the young Taoist priest next to him who has never made a move. What a pity this batch is. He was a decisive person. After making up his mind, he reached out and took out a talisman with flashing light from his magic bag. He squeezed it hard and instantly felt that his body was much lighter, and a wind energy surrounded him. With one step, his speed increased several times, and he fled outside the restaurant like lightning. Suddenly, the middle-aged Taoist priest felt a warning sign in his heart. Before he could react, a black hole suddenly appeared in front of him, and a thick and sharp dog claw protruded from it with lightning. Not good. He wanted to avoid it, but he was in mid-air and couldn't use his strength. Ah! With a scream, the black dog's claws instantly clawed through the heart of the middle-aged Taoist priest. Innate monks are no better than the golden elixir and cannot be reborn. A ruptured heart will lead to death. The corpse fell, and the black dog with the netherworld flag and the Huishan talisman floating above its head fell from mid-air. His right paw was stained with blood, and his black hair was covered in blood spots. But the black dog's ferocious grin and majestic body reveal a chilling murderous aura. After taking a deep breath, the black dog shook his body and all the blood stained by it was thrown away. Sir, Hefeng is lucky to have lived up to his destiny. Black Wind is the name given by Su Junming to the black dog after it broke through the innateness and gained spiritual intelligence. However, it is rarely used at ordinary times. Instead, he calls himself the same as Kuei Niu, Go Yet. Su Junming stretched out his hand and the soul of the middle-aged Taoist priest fell into his hand. Well done. Keep the magic weapon and talisman on this person yourself. With a flick of his finger, a spark flew out, and the middle-aged Taoist priest and the 4 corpses around him burned instantly. Except for useful training materials, nothing was left. Thank you, sir. There are spiritual weapons and elixirs rewarded by Su Junming. Hefeng looks down on these ordinary things, but they are still of some value. Master, what should I do with these little dolls? 4 carloads of babies about 1 year old, totaling nearly 50. How to properly arrange them is also Su Junming's top priority. Let them be taken care of by the academy for the time being. After I make some calculations and find their parents, it won't be too late to return them. The black dog nodded. Su Junming waved his sleeves, and all the babies were freed from the animal-making technique. With the support of his magic power, they slowly floated up. Seeing such a magical scene, a few of these little guys stopped crying, and most of them stopped crying and looked around with curiosity in their eyes. Some even stretched out their chubby little hands, scratched left and right, and giggled. The cheerful and childish laughter is always a delight. Hearing this in Su Junming's ears also brought a smile to his face. With the thought in mind, I cast a dust-repelling spell, and instantly all the babies became clean. With a flick of his hand, the sheepskin used in the animal-making technique quickly turned into clean and well-fitting little clothes for these babies to wear without wind. After nourishing their bodies with spiritual energy and restoring them to health, he took out Daihuang Mountain and temporarily sent them in. There is their own puppet body inside, so they will have someone from the academy take care of them. After doing this, Su Junming finally breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, after erasing the traces of the fight in the backyard and returning to normal, he returned to the restaurant in front with the black dog. Seeing the table full of chicken bones and empty wine jars, the black dog was furious. He ran over in a few steps, baring his teeth. "Stupid cow, you actually ate it while Master Dog was away." Kuei Niu raised his teeth and looked askance at the angry black dog. "Who told you not to come earlier? You've been struggling with your innate skills for a long time. I really don't know where your previous training has gone. Go away. Isn't it just that you entered Taoism earlier than Master Go? If Master Go had followed me earlier, he would have definitely entered Yuan Shen before you." The black dog's gritted teeth and lack of cultivation are the pain points that it will never be able to overcome when it comes to bickering with the stupid cow. Hee, no matter how you defend yourself. Now, Lord Niu, I am the soul, and you stupid dog is only in the late innate stage. You. He stared angrily at Kuei Niu's complacent look. If it weren't for his lack of cultivation, he would really want to go up and give him a paw at this moment. "Come on, it's time for us to set off." Su Junming came over to greet him. "Master, I haven't eaten yet." Black Dog said pitifully. "Look for another restaurant on the way, we have other things to do." Su Junming looked indifferent, and Black Dog instantly understood that the master must have found a clue from the soul of the middle-aged Taoist priest. Knowing the priorities, it no longer insisted and went downstairs obediently. Kuei Niu did the same. He repainted his body as a green ox and followed him on the road. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 454. Inland City, the capital of Dao Kingdom, covers an area of about 20 miles. Although it is not big compared to the cities of Daong Dynasty, for an island country with a population of less than 10 million, this is already their largest city. The imperial city located in the center is undoubtedly the most gorgeous and conspicuous existence. It is quite similar to the layout of the Forbidden City in Su Junming's previous life, and it also reveals a bit of majesty. Outside the imperial city, there are many gorgeous buildings with cornices and brackets, surrounded by green trees. Among these magnificent buildings, one was significantly taller and occupied more space. In particular, a pagoda-like attic is the tallest palace after the imperial city. As the distance grew closer, the words Star-Picking Tower became clear. On the highest floor of the attic of the Star Building, beside the open rosewood window, an old man wearing a gorgeous purple robe and a golden crown stood with his hands behind his hands, gazing out at the majestic imperial city in the mist and rain. Dong dong. There was a sudden knock on the door. The old man raised his eyebrows. "Come in." A tall, thin middle-aged man with narrow eyes opened the door and walked in. Seeing the old man standing beside the bed, the middle-aged man showed some respect on his face and walked over. "Father. How's the matter you were asked to investigate?" the old man said majestically. "No news yet." The old man's brows instantly furrowed, and he turned around with a swish of an eye, staring at the middle-aged man with his hawk-like eyes. The latter instantly felt a strong pressure on himself, his body involuntarily bent down, and his face showed more respect. "No news about all the family offerings?" The middle-aged man nodded quickly. "How can it be? The child has sent letters to all the worshippers Fijian, but it seems like nothing has happened. 3 days have passed and no one has responded." After a pause, The man said cautiously, "Father, there is something very fishy about this matter. Could it be the person in the palace? Are you dissatisfied with our Shen family?" There was a trace of disdain on the old man's face. He has been immersed in the dream of immortality for a long time. Moreover, if it were not for the infant blood provided by our Shen family, he would still have the energy to enjoy it. If it's not the king, then who in the Yu kingdom can threaten our Shen family? The old man's face darkened slightly. Of course there is no such thing as the Great Yu Kingdom, but there is a broader world of cultivation outside the Great Yu Kingdom. The middle-aged man looked startled and said quickly, "Father, you mean that the cultivators from abroad in the Great Yu dynasty destroyed more than 100 worshippers of our Shen family? Otherwise, what do you think? All the cultivation sects in Dao have been almost wiped out by us in recent years." There was an uneasiness on the middle-aged man's face. "Father, the person who can destroy our family's worship must be a powerful practitioner or overseas force. He turned to look at his son with a fearful face and said coldly, "What, are you scared?" Facing his father, who had brought his family to the top without anger and was becoming more and more majestic, the middle-aged man felt a chill in his heart and said quickly, "Father, it's not that the child is scared. It's just that our Shen family has never suffered such a heavy blow since its establishment. More importantly, 3 days have passed since the first worshipper was killed, but we don't have any clues. No. Therefore, from what I've seen, the enemy's strength must be extraordinary. For the family's sake, we should prepare early." The old man pondered for a moment. "What do you think? Building the plank road openly and secretly visiting Chen Kang? The king has always wanted to get involved in the business of Feiyun Pavilion." A light flashed in the old man's eyes. "Feiyun Pavilion is the foundation of our Shen family's strength. If we give it to him, it will be difficult to get it back." The middle-aged man smiled faintly, looking confident. "The strong ones are respected in the world of cultivation. My father has a high level of cultivation, and the king relies heavily on his father. It is not difficult to get Feiyun Pavilion back. What's more important is that the enemy is hiding in the dark and his strength is unknown. Feiyun Pavilion, it has become a hot potato, and if we throw it out at this time, we will divert trouble to the east." The old man had a thoughtful look on his face. At this moment, a ray of cyan light flew from a distance, fell into the old man's hands, and turned into a cyan jade talisman. Infused with spiritual consciousness, a line of text is reflected in the sea of consciousness. "Father, what's the matter?" "The king invites me to come to the palace to discuss matters." "Father, this is an opportunity." The old man nodded. "I will consider this matter. You go down first." A middle-aged man who understands his father's character does not dare to be verbose. "My child, please leave. In troubled times, just stay at home. There is your third brother at Feiyun Pavilion." "Yes." The moment he bowed, a trace of ferocity appeared on the middle-aged man's face. Third brother, that despicable bastard, what qualifications do you have to compete with me for the position of head of the family?" Roaring and resentful in his heart, when he raised his head, he regained his obedience, took a few steps back, turned around, and walked toward the door. Looking at his back, the old man sighed secretly. His eldest son was ambitious and talented, and was not an ideal heir to the family. In contrast, he prefers the third son who is better qualified and thoughtful. He shook his head and suppressed the unnecessary thoughts in his heart for the time being. Feiyun Pavilion encountered a catastrophe, and the secret and mysterious enemies kept approaching. In addition, the king kept peeking at Feiyun Pavilion. Everything was complicated. For a while, he did not have much time to consider the issue of the next generation of the family head. Crushing the magic talisman in his hand, the light flashed and his body disappeared instantly. At the same time, a Taoist priest wearing a blue robe, holding a bamboo stick, riding an ox and leading a dog, came to the city. "Master, this place is really prosperous." Kuei Niu's divine consciousness transmitted the message. The black dog quickly ran ahead, its huge size frightening pedestrians into giving way. Master Dog's mouth is filled with tears. "Master, let's go have a meal first, and then go clean up that shit Fiyung." As soon as he finished speaking, an emerald green bamboo pole came over. Although he didn't exert much force, the black dog still felt a pain in his butt and almost screamed. Turning around to look at his master's majestic appearance, Black Dog instantly lowered his eyebrows and sneered, saying with a sneer, business matters, business matters." "Haha, you stupid dog. You have been with me for so long and you haven't even figured out my style of doing things. You are really stupid." The black dog glared. "Silly cow, you dare to laugh at me?" Kuei Niu curled his lips disdainfully. "You are the one who is laughing at me. If you can, bite me." "I." Black Dog's face darkened instantly when he thought of the huge gap in cultivation between the two parties. "I wanted to ask my master for help, but thinking about the bamboo stick I had just received, I was too embarrassed to ask for help." He turned his head and ran away. "Damn Fiyung, Mr. Dog will never let you go." Kuei Niu looked at its retreating back and vomited softly. "Stupid dog. Follow me." The sound coming from his back made Kuei Niu tremble and take a step forward. The crowd around him dispersed involuntarily and followed him very quickly. It didn't take long before they arrived outside a manor in the east of the city. "You can't force your way into this place, come back." Black Dog's cultivation level is only in the late Xiantian stage, and with the spiritual weapon he bestowed upon him, his golden core cultivation level can also reach a dozen. But the golden elixir is not the only thing in the manor. The black dog, who was about to break in, trembled and did not dare to resist. He obediently returned to Kuei Niu. Looking at the manor surrounded by green trees, towering walls, and strict backs, Su Junming subconsciously clenched the bamboo stick in his hand. Ever since he beheaded the Taoist priest who used the animal-making technique and gained his memory, Su Junming knew about this organization called Fiyun Pavilion. However, he did not come to the door immediately. Instead, he did his best to eliminate the evil, first cutting off the outer parts little by little, and finally went straight to Huanglong. He didn't mind if the people from Fiyun Pavilion got the news and stepped up their guard, so they could be killed together. By activating the bronze mirror, all the auras above the manor, which covers an area of several acres, manifested themselves. The most powerful of these is resentment. A jet of blue-black gas measuring tens of feet, like a blazing flame, flew above the manor. While seeing it, the sounds of countless babies crying went straight to the bottom of my heart. Su Junming silently recited the King's In Sutra and activated the soul talisman to restore calm to the inner lake. What a strong resentment! He has now reached the level of Yuan Shen. This resentment can affect him, which shows how powerful he is. But behind this powerful resentment are the tragic deaths of countless infants and young children. An uncontrollable anger rose from Su Junming's heart. With a wave of the green bamboo stick in his palm, the 7-inch long bamboo stick quickly extended and expanded rapidly. With a bang, a green bamboo staff measuring several feet in size instantly swept away the entrance and courtyard walls of the manor. "Who dares to act wild here?" Following the loud shout, a ray of light flew out from it. Looking at the middle-aged man wrapped in spiritual light, Su Junming said coldly, "You deserve to die too." With a brush of the bamboo stick, the green light surged, and the powerful power caused the visitor's expression to change drastically. Nascent soul. I was horrified. "Senior, spare your life, I am." Before he could finish his words, he was crushed by a flood of green light. The tyrannical Aoki spiritual energy boiled like a tide and rushed towards the manor overwhelmingly. Those monks responsible for guarding the place, but those who had resentment, were killed by the strong Aoki spiritual energy. The magic has its own soul. Su Junming, who has his own soul in every ounce of magic, can accurately operate this feast of killing. Boom! Along with the loud noise, green light surged. A black flag flew up fiercely, and the thick and unrivaled Jozi Yingxia spurted out from the flag, blocking Su Junming's green bamboo aura. Under the protection of this flag, a handsome young man wearing a white robe walked into the air step by step. Looking at Su Junming, there was scrutiny in his eyes. I think the 136 worshippers who came to Feiyun Pavilion were killed by you, right? Are you Shen Yun? You know me. I don't know him, and I don't want to know him. I just want to confirm it's you and then kill him. Kill me? Ha ha ha, although the spiritual treasure in your hand is good, my 9 sons of heavenly demon god banner is made from the souls and bones of thousands of infants. It is powerful and tyrannical. If you don't want to find out, regarding your origins, I just killed you under the divine banner.